What's up guys, Dell here. So I found this little bitty watermelon growing on my fence where I've pretty much let them grow along it. So as you guys know, watermelons get pretty big. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get some support for this little guy so it doesn't fall off under its own weight. So typically I would use, say, some nylon stocking or something that stretches, a material that will stretch and grow with it. I don't have any of that right now, and I'm frankly too lazy to go and buy some. So I'm going to use this netting for now and some plastic ties, and we'll see what we can rig up. Alright, so here we go. So unfortunately I don't have a tripod, so I had to set the camera down for a bit while I did this. But the way this is set up is that it's still allowed to hang, okay? But once it gets big enough, it'll go ahead and it'll start leaning into that trellis, into that netting right there. Now, something to note is if we follow this vine up away, you can see that it really doesn't end in anywhere. So that's all gonna just suck extra energy from it, from the fruit itself. So we're gonna go ahead and pinch that off. Right there. That way that plant is sending all its energy into that one particular fruit. And let's see if there's any more on the vine. Doesn't look like it. So, and if you're wondering, this trellis is from my netting over here, or the netting is from the trellis, where I've got some yard-long beans growing up, and they're not going to be ready for quite a while. So here's the thing about growing melons on a fence post or a trellis like this. Okay, the plants get super thick. And one thing you can't always tell is when you have melons. So here's one here. And then, as I was checking, I discovered this one. And then this one. I don't know if there are any more just yet. But I'm sure there will be. Yep, there are. There's another one right there. And that's not really focusing very well. But the point is that they're starting to pop up all over the place, which is great. But that also means that I need a lot more netting. And I can't keep cutting pieces off of my trellis. So, time to go to the store and find something that works even better. Alright, so it's been a few days since I made my last update as far as the melons go. And the one on the side, it's been about 5 days, and the one on the side has grown absolutely massive. And you can see the one that's hanging in there, and it's big. I'm just gonna let it hang and see what happens on that one. But this one, I had to tie up because it's become gigantic. Now you guys saw this in the last video, on the last clip, and it was pretty small. This is 5 days growth, and this thing is getting gigantic. So I had to rig up some cloth to keep it from falling under its own weight, but I think I'm gonna do this for the rest of them. And I've got a few more pieces of cloth like this, and it's a pretty simple setup. It didn't cost me anything, and it works. And I've had to work nights for a while now, so that's been kind of hindering me from getting out and going to do what I want to do. But like I said, we'll see what happens. So there's a few more. Like I said, there's that big one. That one's about the size of my hand as well. It's a little bit smaller than the one that I hung up on the cloth there. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna let this hang and see what happens, see if I can get it to just grow naturally, and see if it falls off under its own weight. Now if it becomes too big, then I'll do what I gotta do, but until then, we'll see what happens. And then there's still this one underneath. It's getting a little bit bigger, but not by a whole lot. So, and another thing is, we've got some cucumbers. So, let's go ahead and harvest those, and we'll just snip them right off. An awesome thing about these cucumbers is they grow really fast. This 5 days ago was about half that size. So, this one right here, that's gonna be fully grown in about a week. So, on average, I'm pulling in 2 cucumbers per week. So, and then this little guy over here, I have to show you this. I put this fence here because I have a couple of dogs who will eat this. And unfortunately it grew out here before I could train it back onto the inside of the fence. But this is what's called a lemon cucumber. And it's not really that much different than a normal cucumber, but they're a little bit smaller and they're a little bit darker on the inside, and I'll make a separate video when I pull that one off and harvest it. So it's been 5 days, and here's the watermelon that I suspended. You can see it hasn't gotten too much bigger, but it's grown enough that it's settled in the net at this point. So, as always, thanks for watching. My name is Del, and I'll see you next time.